I'd like to share a few memories as well, that good and bad. I remember Randy's the show. It was like guaranteed every year, every day. You know, like it was something to gloat about. With you guys, stick with me, Mina. I'll hook you up. You know, because my dad was that guy who was the hookup. Although I don't think he paid for any of those tickets. Because
It's giving you mental.
there's always something special and something dodge. Something weird all the time, but we were there, Oksalayo, you know. Yes, he did compensate a lot because he spoiled us so much, but there was a huge downfall to that, which, you know, he even like it's taking me back. He did not treat my mother with respect. He disregarded her in every way possible. He undermined her in the worst way. You know, like when you fall in love and you choose a life partner and you decide, okay, this is going to be my husband. You know, you've got plans and you're in love. You know, you expect that it's going to be roses and petals and gold. Yes, it's not going to be always roses, but 80% should at least be happy times, right? My mom didn't get that at all. Hence, Toli was saying, without our mothers were color one way. Like, how do you justify that? Like, what's happening? But that's exactly what happened. Was yes, we had all these lovely things, but back at the ranch, it was bad. I mean, I remember towards the end, the abuse got so bad that myself and Ayanda couldn't sleep. We'd have to wait for him to come home, and my bedroom was closest to my parents' bedroom, and they had like a sliding door, and I would every night make sure the door doesn't fully close so I can hear everything, and I wouldn't close my door so I could hear what's going on. And I remember I would take my pillows off my bed and put them on the floor, and I would sit there and camp on the floor waiting to hear a screaming sound. And that was our life. I mean, today we had a few screams and it was a trigger, you know, which just took me back. You know, you couldn't sleep, because how do you sleep when you're listening to your mom screaming her lungs out? And like, he had a gun, so obviously she was terrified of him, you know, and she was too scared to react because he was like a grenade. It was like a ticking time bomb, you know, anything goes. So nothing, you couldn't really plan around him because he was just ready to explode. And it affected us. I mean, I'm like shaking now. I thought I was over this, but it affected us in such a horrible way. You know, our self-esteem, how we perceived life in general, how we perceived men, you know, because here is this man who idealistically looks like, you know, father of the year, Mara, worst husband ever. And how do you begin to comprehend or find a balance between that when you're just a child, you know? As a child, your focus should be your academics, you know, sports, and etc., and friends, socialize. But when we were kids, we couldn't even really focus. I mean, I remember there was a time I did every sport at school just to run away from dealing with what was happening at home. So my dad worked shifts, and he would drop us off in the morning, and he'd also pick us up from school. Depending who knocked off earlier, my sisters would either get picked up first or myself. And when we'd get home, he'd be the father of the year, you know. He prepares us after school lunch, you know, he sets up the table for us. As soon as we're done with that, it's homework time. You know, there was a structure, there was a lifestyle. Mara, when mom comes home, it's a complete, it's a complete, like it's upside down. If she came home late, big leave. If she did her hair, big leave. I'm surprised mothers has hair, because boy, those kitchen towels were always full of my mom's hair. I think when I think of the house we used to live in, I still picture my mom's hair on the kitchen floor, especially every single time she had her hair done, there was a fight. And plates will be all over the floor. It was just drama. And, as much as I can go on about all these experiences and how it affected us, I don't want to dwell on that past, because by God's grace, and hence the book is called Alive by Grace, we have been blessed. God protected us, God saved us, God redeemed us. God loves us so much that He took us out of Egypt and brought us where we are today. And I think more importantly, we are sharing our story not because we want you to feel sorry for us and and feel bad, and we want you to see, to look here, there's life after abuse. And if you get out of it, and if you take note, and if you open your eyes at a very young age and pick up the small signs, the book focuses on also picking up signs of abuse. If you learn to pick up those signs as a young girl or as a young man, because men also get abused, it will help you a great deal, because then you're able to move forward. You're able to get out of this toxic environment and start afresh.